First, I will explain a little bit about who Netset is and what we do. We are a company that has existed for almost 20 years, and we have done a lot of different web-based solutions over the years, but nowadays we only do one thing, and that is solutions for the IT resellers. And an IT reseller is someone that sells computers or printers or phones, and they want to have an online presence. Then they can choose our solution, and we will help them go online. So when they buy our solution, we help them populate it with products, images, and descriptions, and prices from the different distributors that they are connected to. And then they can present this to their customers. So when I say customer, I almost always mean the shop owner, because that is our customer, and then the shop owner has his customers. So it can be a little confusing, but most of the time a customer is the shop owner. We mainly do business with companies that deal with other companies, business-to-business solutions. So we're not that famous for the normal people, but in the IT industry we're quite famous. So this solution that they buy from us is more or less a business solution, more than just an e-commerce solution. They do quotes and they do purchase orders and stuff like that inside the solution. We have many different size of customers. They range from maybe 20 million Swedish kronas in revenue per year to the biggest ones are 35 billion kronas. And what we're going to talk about here today is the small to medium businesses, and they are in our standard product. We also use the standard product for the bigger customers, but there is a lot of customization there. So this is the small and medium businesses. So what is our challenge? We have right now many customers that is running the current version of the shop, and they want to upgrade to a responsive version. They want to have a more modern version. And they might have done some customization on their own, and they still want to have the upgrade as smooth as possible. And, what does this responsive mean? What is responsive design? It's abbreviated RWD. I can show you with an example maybe. This is Webhallen. It's a site for consumers, so we have not done that one. This is the desktop version of Webhallen. And if you go into Webhallen on a mobile phone, it looks like this. Everything is shrunken down. Webhallen doesn't pay attention to the screen size. They just display the page as if it was on a full screen desktop. So this is not responsive. If you go to Foo Cafe and view that on a mobile phone, they changed the design so it adapts to the phone size. So this is a responsive web design. That is the definition of responsive, to adapt to the screen size. Hide things and show things depending on screen size. And what did we have in the back end or the front end? We were starting at the position where we have most of the rendering in the back end with Java. We have mixed HTML and data somewhat, so it's hard for us to separate the data from the HTML. And it's really hard to do changes in the HTML if you're not a Java developer. We have mostly full page reloads and full page posts. So you can say our current design is more or less like a traditional web solution that it was yesterday. So it's not so responsive right now. And the customers, the shop owners, they can do changes in something that we call the profile, the graphical profile in admin. And this is probably also best shown, if I can manage this. If we go into the shop, this is an example of a shop in the back end. So this is the administration part. This is what the shop owner sees each day. He sees his orders here, and there is a lot of things that he sees. But down here there is settings. And down here is some graphical, I need to look here. Graphical profile. No, I stay up here. Is it there? And here we go into this one. And if we look at this tab, here is what the shop owner sees today. He sees, here is my shop. It's a static image of the shop, and we have outlined something, and he can do changes here to that part. If you scroll down, we say this part here with numbers, and we can do changes to this here. And we have a lot of this, a lot. So the shop owner can modify most of the things in the shop in here. You see there is a lot. So what's the problem with this? It looks nice. The problem here is that we, Netset, almost always also get involved in the customization of the shop. And we know HTML and CSS, but we still need to go into this front-end tool for the CSS and do changes, and that is not optimal for us. And also, if the customer wants to do a lot of customization, there is almost always a some sort of person that knows web, and he wants to fiddle with the HTML and CSS, and he don't want this tool. So what we would like to have is something much more simple. Maybe the shop owner can change the logo or images, some color themes, and nothing more. And that's it. And if he wants to do further customization, then he can use the templates in HTML and CSS directly. So that is what we are transitioning to. So this web layer in front of CSS, it looks nice, but it's hard to work with if you want to do many changes and if you know what you're doing and want to do it directly in the templates. So the new design, what do we want? We want server-side and client-side rendered pages. And the server-side part is still important for us because of search engine optimization. Search engines want to have the whole page still. And it's also good for when you send a link in a mail or have a bookmark, the page can be loaded directly without a lot of interaction with the front end and back end. We would like to separate HTML and data. So right now you saw in this graphical profile editor, you can do a lot of things to the CSS, but the HTML is hard to change because it's hard coded for us, more or less. It's in Java classes. So now we want to separate it, so the HTML is also usable by the shop owner to do changes in. And we also want to be able to reload smaller parts of the page because it's maybe because of performance or yeah. And bandwidth, we want to save bandwidth maybe. And yeah, we want to give the shop owner more control over the design if he or she wants to. So, what have we chosen? What technologies have we chosen? Since this product is meant to be customizable by the shop owner, that is maybe not a web-savvy user. He doesn't know a lot of HTML and he doesn't know a lot of CSS, but a little bit. And he definitely doesn't know about React or Angular. So we have chosen quite simple technologies for the product. For the data transfer part, we have chosen JSON. JSON is JavaScript object notation. It's a simple text-based format for transferring data. We have gone for a simple template engine called Mustache. And it's a simple logicless template engine. And the reason for this is that we want to minimize the logic on the client side, because if we will do a lot of logic on the client side for the product and the shop owner starts to fiddle around with the templates, we will get into trouble. So it can seem like a stupid choice to use a simple engine, and it can definitely be challenging for developers when they sit, oh, I just want to do this loop here or whatever, but it's not possible, so you have to think about it, and the templates becomes more simple. And we have actually used SAS as a CSS preprocessor, and that will not be needed for the end customer, I think, Daniel. But it's a choice that we can do for the product. So what we have now, after this change, is that the server gathers data and then transfers it into JSON and delivers it to the client. The server also gathers templates and delivers them to the client. The client combines these two into HTML. And when I say client, it can be both the server and the browser. So we have Mustache template engine both on the client and the server. And that was also one of the choices we needed to do, that the template engine should work on both the client and the server. So I will go a little bit into Mustache and how it works, so you can follow along better with Daniel's examples later on. And I will not do that. As I said, it's logicless templates, so they are really simple. It's more or less like a search and replace. There are tags in the template, and they will be replaced by data. There is something called partials, because you sometimes want to do some small parts of templates that you want to reuse, and these are called partials. And I will show you an example how it can look. Here we have a file called mytemplate.mustache. In here we have a div with some placeholder for a title, and you see these curly braces. They look more or less like mustaches on the side, so that's why it's called Mustache. Here on the next row we have some name partial, and it's a greater than sign here. It means import this partial here. And then we have some other divs. So in this name partial.mustache, this one, we can have different things, and these will be inserted here. It's like an include or something. So that way you can reuse small parts of Mustache into the whole. But there is a limitation. There is no way to send static parameters into the partials. And what is static parameters? Static parameters is something that you know. It isn't in the data, but it's still some sort of dynamic. If we go back, or I will come to that in the next example. The partials also must start from top to bottom. You must start with the HTML tag and end with an HTML tag, and then include all the way down. You cannot include the other way. So that can also be a problem. Here we see an example of a product mustache template. We have some include of the head, and we have the actual contents of this page, and then we have some include of the foot. So this is the actual page. We have some label price, and here we include some buy button template. So if we look at this head mustache, it will be something like this, and maybe it will inject the page title here. And if we look at the foot, it will be something like this maybe, and add a page-specific script here, and then it ends. The problem with this is that the page title and the script tags are also mustache tags, and the data for them needs to be in the data. But we know when we write the template what the value is, because it's a static value. So for example, the title for the product page is always products maybe, and we know which JavaScript we want to include because it's always the same on the product page. So we saw this as a quite big problem. So we invented, or what you say, something we call static partials. It's a small extension to Mustache that we have utilized, and it enables inheritance maybe, inheritance-ish. We have chosen some these characters as the delimiters for that one. And if we look at an example, what we now can do is that we can have a framework Mustache file where we say we put placeholders that here we want the page title, here we want the content, and here we want the scripts. And this page will be the same for all pages that we do. And it's more or less the content that is important for each page. So our product Mustache file now looks like this. We say inherit from framework Mustache. In the page title you should add this. In the content portion you should add this. And in the script portion you should add this. And this is pre-compiled by our build script. So this file is not sent to the client, but before we do a static compilation. So when we have done the static compilation, we have actually got in the product name here, and we have the extra script here. And what's important about the content is here. And this is our product Mustache that will be sent to the client. So these are included once, and we don't have to add them to the data and make the data really long. And now we can have label, price, and buy button stuff in the data, the only important part for that page. And then all these templates that we do one template for each page and sub-templates and stuff like that, plus the CSS, they are included into a theme. And these themes, we will have a couple of them maybe. It depends on how much Daniel is willing to work. But right now we have the first one. And then the shop owner can go into the admin part, like in the graphical profile, and they can extend the theme and change small bits of it, maybe change one template, and we can still update the other templates when we do new things. Yeah. And when they work with these templates and do changes, they do it for their session, so they can try it out in the shop, and how the shop will look like for other customers when they come there. And when they are finished, they press publish, and they will see the changed theme will be seen by everyone. So now with this little background, I will give the word to Daniel, and he will enlighten you in the front-end parts.
Okay. My name is Juzovitskij, and I work as a front-end developer at Netset. And I'm going to show you a little bit. We're going to peek behind the scenes. We're going to look at the design a little bit, and then the real thing, the real page. So, yeah, can start with that. Okay. So, a little recap of what Mathias told you. This is we use Mustache to build HTML, and we use Foundation framework to build a grid system. We use jQuery to write JavaScript, and then we have Sass to write CSS. So yeah, it's not so complicated. This is the HTML and jQuery structure. This is divided into, like you see, different folders, and in different components. You see the different components here, and in every folder you see a JS file with JavaScript, and then we have the mustache file. So it's very easy to find what you're looking for and just edit it. We can move on to Sass structure. This is I chose a very straightforward approach regarding how which folders I wanted to work with, and I chose the 3 folders: the base, the components, and the pages. And if we look at the constants file under the base, we can see that it looks like this. So this is the basic colors that is in every project that we start for a new customer, and this part you can change for the specific customer. So we can just put the customer's colors here, and it will change on many places and change different parts of the page. And then the same thing with the font here. If you change this, it will change the font on the page. We can go through a little bit. The external file, it is external CSS that we use. For example, normalize and light gallery that shows our images on the page. We have general rules that change general elements. If we want to change maybe a table or style of table, we can do that in this file. Then we have mixins, then functions for Sass, for example, breakpoints. That's in that contains that file. And then we have utilities, for example, hidden class that we can use over, in different parts of the code. Just reuse it. And then we have the folder called components. Looks like this, and this is it's easy to find what you're working with, and easy to change the file. So and the pages look the same in the component. And then we have main CSS, compiled CSS, but not minified. And that's because we want to troubleshoot if the compiler doesn't work. We want to look in this file and see if the CSS changes I've done is included in that file. So, and then we have the last part, and that is the main SCSS, combines all SCSS files into one. So everything is listed in that file. We use gulp to compile the different SCSS files into one big file. So if when I start work with this, I open the terminal and write gulp, and this will trigger this task, and you see it here. And when I change the CSS Sass file, it will then listen to every change and save, and trigger this task, which is this one. And then it will start the compilation of all the Sass files and do one big CSS file. And then then it will trigger this task, jump here, and then it will minify everything. And that is what is read from the browser is reading from that file. So that's a little bit about gulp and structure. This is the flow with rsync. This is how the flow looks like. So when I make changes to the code, if it's a CSS or a Sass file, it goes to step 2. The gulp compiles and creates a minified CSS file. Then it goes to next step. Through rsync, it uploads the changed files to the server. And then the next task, the server compiles and updates the site, and then I can go to the URL and see the changes. So, yeah, that's the flow to see when I work with a project how it looks like, and to see the changes. And when I'm happy with some changes, I just push it to Git. Okay, Design. This was the first mock-up we did. The goal here was to like have focus on the products and have a clean and clear site without any small things and shadows and boxes, and so very clean and modern design. And this is the result. We're going to look at that later. This is the first thing you see when you surf into the site. Obviously, the first thing is to find a product is the search bar on the top, a big search bar to like be able to search for products. Then we have the menu, looks like this with categories and then the products to the right. And then we have the popular categories in the bottom. So it's the first thing you see, and then the customer can upload a banner here and market promote other products. So it's many different places to just promote products or find products. This is the mobile view. We had to remove unnecessary elements. So this is here is only two different what you can say. Here you can just go to like two different places to find products. So if you scroll down in the desktop, this is the view. You will see different product promotions, and this is the same view on a mobile phone, a little more compact, as you can see. And this is the whole page. So it's very product focused, and that is very clear, and it's easy to find what you're looking for. Yes, and now we can look at the actual page, our site. So this is the site right now. You see different promotions. This is a PC. I work on a Mac, so this is a little bit hard for me. It's okay. So as you can see, this is the final demonstration site. You see different elements. If we resize the page somehow. This one? Yeah, okay, perfect. If you resize the page, you'll see that no. You'll see that this is the mobile view, and some elements disappears, and some is still the same, like in the bottom. You can see this is promotions for if a company wants to put some content or article, you can do that. And then we have recently sold, and this is the footer of the page. Wow. Okay. We can try to log in, and then we are logged in. Okay, great. And then choose a product here. This is a product list page. So here's the list, and here you can find a filter to filter out what you're looking for. We can try to see how it looks on a phone. The same view. Oh, okay. No. Okay, no. Take it back. So this is the view. Just product focused here too. Everything is removed that is unnecessary from the page. We can add this to the basket here. Then go to the basket. That's just to show you the whole flow of the page. This is the basket. We can maybe add something here to check out. Oh, I need to log in as a customer to make a. Sorry for that. Can do this again. Card reader maybe. Buy this thing. checkout. Yeah, this is the checkout page. And here, when you come here, you can change some information about you as a customer, and then just place the order. Yep, and here you can see the order that is made, and go and watch what it contains. So that's the whole flow of the page right now.